The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Hey. Holy shit, Sarah. We practiced this in the car. Are you kidding me?
Yo, I told you I can't do anything with this throat.
Oh, my God.
That's a lie.
All right.
My mom listens.
Hi, Mom. Wait, can we try that one more time?
Yeah.
I'll go down. You go up.
Okay.
Ready?
Hi.
That was fucking awesome.
Yo, you are like, you looked like that crazy music teacher.
Oh my God, this one time I had a crazy music
Are
teacher.
you good?
I played chimes in chime choir.
You would.
Do you remember those where they're like the handbells? Oh, hell yes, I did. And she lied to my mom to get me to keep coming to rehearsals. So, there I am. My second performance.
I love how you hold the mic.
Thank you. My second performance, and I'm in front of the entire school board. And you know which note I am?
Is it Jay?
Okay, there's no J on a music scale.
What do I know?
Not a music scale, I'll tell you that much. So I am the second note in the national anthem. And do you know what that means, honey?
Tell me.
It means that as fast or as slow as I go, I set the tempo for the entire song.
Whoa, you have a lot of responsibility. Well,
I did. I would love it if you did not roll your eyes. That is disrespectful. I was in 6th grade and I had a fucking patch. Did you have a patch that said I'm in chime choir? It was basically like a kick me sign.
I could literally just order that right now.
Did you earn it? Did you earn it? Shut up. So
I think we argue more and more on here.
It's great. I love it.
We're falling apart, everyone.
It's fine. If anybody has super glue and or Band-Aids,
that would work.
That would be great. So I'm pissed at her. And mind you, this is a couple days after she heard me talking shit. Literally, like, she was standing behind my back and I didn't know. And I was talking shit to like a group of friends. What are you going to do?
If he has something to say, he'll just say it to you.
Yeah, I don't have time to do the run
no
around.
No dilly-dally. No around the bush.
Mm-mm.
What is that? Beat around the bush?
But don't beat around the bush. No eggshells here. And honestly, if the shoe fits, bitch.
Lace that shit up and wear it.
See if they got it in red. Because I got a party to go to this weekend.
I love red shoes. I got these really cute red shoes from Primark. They're only $5 and I have yet to wear them because they're open-toed shoes.
Probably because like a child made it in some other country. But let me finish my story. Back to the national anthem in front of the school board. So.
Oh, now the school board's there.
The school, I told you that. This is where my second concert was. It's my second debut in front of a live audience. So I do that shit as fast as I can. And literally, like, the person goes, you know how, like, the national anthem goes, do, 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 do. You guys have heard of it. Maybe you haven't. But yeah, the person goes, do, and I go, do, 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 do. The whole thing was going super fast. And I was like, well, don't be a little bitch. Don't lie to my mom. Stay in school. And you know what else you should do? If you got $5, you can get 2 bonus episodes a month by joining the $5 tier on Patreon. Or you can donate any amount that you would like.
Literally a cent.
Anything is appreciated. And thank you to our current supporters. We appreciate and we love you dearly.
Thanks, guys. Wait, I have one thing to say.
Yes.
What is this new, like, Stan thing? STAN? I see it on Twitter and I don't get it.
Stop. Wait, are you joking?
No.
Okay. Are you really not joking?
No, I don't know what it is.
So,
and I waited all week to ask you so I could ask you on here.
Sarah. Okay, so the Eminem came out with a song years ago called Stan.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And it's like an obsessed fan who does like crazy shit when Eminem doesn't write him back. So it's like he's a super fan and he goes like, plot twist, just spoiler alert, he like kills his wife at the end of the song. And like when people say I stan that, they're just like, I'm a super fan of that.
Oh, okay.
Question is, why is it becoming popular now? Well, it's not even popular now. I feel like it's on its way out now.
See, the thing is, I thought it was a reference for that song because that's the only thing I could think of. But for real, like, why now?
I have literally no idea. Let me see when that song came out. 2000. That song came out in 2000, 18 years ago.
I'm not good.
18 years ago, and now everybody is quoting it.
Get it together, y'all.
It's weird. It says... I don't know.
I stan you.
I stan. I can't believe you didn't know that. That's like on its way out. Well, the more you know.
This is the first thing I'm ever late to.
The more you know, babe. Ever the late.
Someone said, oh, it was Julia. She said, I've never heard that before. And I was like, what? She's like ever the. And I was
Because
like,
you made it up.
no. It's a Philly thing.
Listen, here I stand. Here I am.
So you don't stand?
Torn into
You stand.
pieces. Can't deny it. Can't
Copyright.
pretend. You guys.
I do not own the rights to this music.
We have a really good show for you, but we are going to, have some word vomit at the beginning of this because I got some things I want to talk about. Starting with the fact that I think after this podcast comes out, it is the day after the Super Bowl. And we are here in
Y'all
Philadelphia.
are probably not going to be alive. Well, I know I'm not.
Well, people don't, the people that listen to us aren't, from Philly. We
That's
have people who in Pennsylvania who listen to us, but we have people in Australia. Down under. What do you guys call it over there? Soccer ball.
Hey guys.
You call it football.
Hey Australia.
We probably just lost listeners because that was a really insulting.
Well, you can edit that out.
I can, but I'm not going to. So yeah, the Super Bowl, Eagles, Philadelphia. We are in it.
What is it? 16 years it's been since they've been in the Super Bowl?
Sure.
Something?
2004 was the last time we were in, so 14 years, right? Yeah.
Did I say 16?
I don't know what she said.
Close enough.
But they Crisco'd the polls, the Crisco
it didn't
cops.
stop people because they still literally climbed them.
Were causing a ruckus. That's hilarious. Everybody was partying. Hi, that's free Crisco. That's free hair product for a year. Y'all out there, I would have scooped it right off, run around with my Ziploc baggie, put it right in there.
And I mean, if you want to use that in your hair.
You literally looked at my hair and you're like, yeah, you could use some Crisco.
So.
But what if we weren't the Eagles? What if we were the parakeets? PARAKEET $. I forgot to tell you we put a $sign instead of an S.
I hate you so much.
So this year's halftime show, I think, is Justin Timberlake. I literally don't think I even bothered looking it up. But word through the grapes of wrath. Word through the grapevine.
Jonathan had an espresso and
I didn't have an espresso this time.
Espresso shot.
I did not have an espresso shot. Do I sound like I did?
Yep.
Oh, sorry about it.
Not sorry about it.
But I think Justin Timberlake's a halftime show.
Why?
I don't know. I like Justin
They could have
Timberlake.
had anybody on there. No, because he's not going to play any of his good stuff.
What was your favorite halftime show in the history of ever?
It's between Janet Jackson, that
The
classy nipple.
Yeah, it was Justin Timberlake.
No, it was Janet Jackson.
No, Justin Timberlake's the one who popped the titty out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully that'll happen this year. That'll be cool.
And then Madonna's infamous Illuminati Super Bowl performance.
With MIA and Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, and her...
and MIA gave the finger. I remember that. That was 2012.
And didn't Missy play the Super Bowl?
Yes, we were together that night. And honestly, y'all are going to hate me because a lot of people don't like her now. But I just want to say I really liked Katy Perry's halftime show because when I see a halftime show, I want it to be over the top and fucking
extra
obnoxious.
shit, yeah.
And she came out on that giant lion bitch with her Wii remote. Remember, she had it strapped to her microphone was strapped to her wrist because she threw it at somebody once. She was on that thing. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. Left Shark started that night. Remember that?
Yes.
We were making fun of it. We were like, what's wrong with that shark?
Legit.
Yeah, but and then Missy Elliott came out. We were all expecting her to come bounce back with an album, and she came out with a couple of singles, but she never bounced back with an album. Still waiting on that.
She has
Missy.
a song out now, and it's bomb.
Does she?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to it. But yeah, I mean, I know Katy Perry is kind of, she's iffy right now. I'm not a fan.
She's not good.
I'm not a fan. I don't hate her, but I'm not a fan. But and Lady Gaga last year was pretty good. We were together for that one too.
I was really drunk. I don't remember.
Yeah, because we played Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, and literally every question we got wrong, we drank.
And then we went and drank again.
No, and then we went out for lunch because that was at 11:30.
It was dinner. I remember I was that sign was on the ground and I was laying on it.
Oh yeah, we needed Jesus that night. Okay, so question.
What's your question?
If you had a football team, what would you be called? Who would be your mascot? What are your team colors? And what company would sponsor you?
Oh, come on. Okay. A company for guacamole because I love guacamole.
Okay, I like that.
My colors would be white and pink is already taken.
You can literally have whatever.
Oh, okay. White and pink.
White and pink is taken by who? Fucking Mattel? Yeah, for Barbie packaging.
No, I swear to God, there's a jersey that I had and it was white and pink.
Yeah, it wasn't a real football team.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was probably
You could get an Eagles jersey that's white and pink.
Right, but that's not the Eagles' colors.
Oh.
Jesus.
We would be white and pink. And
I like it.
we would be called the Parkettes.
The Parkettes.
Because I love parks.
Holy shit. Oh my God, I can just hear the fucking jokes about you benching your players.
Oh my God, look at that. See, I'm already a pun. I've made it.
Oh my God. Now that is funny. Okay, so who's your mascot? The benches?
An avocado.
Okay. Okay. You got a lot going on there. But if you need anybody to custom bedazzle your cleats,
I really need that.
I got you.
I need you to bedazzle the cups. What is that called?
The cups that go over the groins, the jock straps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to bedazzle that. And we're going to wear them outside of the pants.
Statement.
Because the men on my team are not afraid to be men.
I like that.
Thanks.
That's really good.
What about you?
Well, first I'd have to pack up my belongings and head on over to Walla Walla, Washington, because ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stadium right now, it is the Walla Walla Wallabies. That is right. The Walla Walla Wallabies.
Okay. Walla Walla Wallabies. So 2 Walla,
Well,
1.
Walla Walla, Washington is a place.
Yeah.
Right. So we would be the Walla Walla Wallabies.
I think you're adding an extra Walla in there.
Wallabies is a thing.
Oh.
We wouldn't be the bees. You thought I was being a bee. Like the Bee movie? Bitch, you thought I was going to be the bees.
Walla Walla Wallaby.
Yes. Walla Walla.
Wallabies.
Wallabies, yeah.
Got it.
Walla Walla Wallabies. I can hear it now. Nicki Minaj is going to be rapping about us. For those of you who don't know, a wallaby is a smaller, mid-sized macropod found in Australia or New Guinea. I would have it shipped here. I have Amazon Prime. It could be here by any time tomorrow if I just order it before 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. What's up? You have your hand up?
Yeah, it's a different topic, so after the fact, we'll do this after.
Okay. My team color is obviously neon beige. And my sponsor would be GasX because it's always there when I need it.
I love it.
And we're going right to the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, we're going to play. Nope, my team is playing yours. Get ready to get
Parked.
wallowed. Swallowed. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I
Now
tried to make it
that.
work. Okay, so
I don't think you want your whole team running around in white and pink with bedazzled telling people they're going to be swallowed. From experience, I can tell you, people will, you're not getting, okay, what's up?
So I know everyone has seen that video of the rat taking a shower.
Oh, yeah.
So it's actually a Pacarana, and it's not taking a shower. It fell in soap, and its skin is actually really irritated, so it's trying to get the soap off.
It's so cute, you have to admit.
No, it's really cute, but
He's like scrubbing behind his ears and his little bum.
because he's trying to get the soap off because it's irritating his
I
skin.
know, but it's cute.
Poor little baby.
Oh, baby, that's so cute. Dude, so by the time this episode comes out,
We might have.
the city might be totally destroyed. We may or may not be here.
I don't even like football, but I'm literally participating in this because I love getting crazy drunk.
But honestly, Philadelphia fans, they're not like other sports fans.
No.
And
They're like diehards.
and when you
Because
say
it's South Philadelphia.
no, but I don't like oh my God. Like people say that they're diehard fans, but Philadelphia fans, I'm here for y'all. Don't come at me, but like sometimes are hella too much and
true.
hella
Did you
disrespectful.
ever see that video? It's like, go birds! Go birds!
Oh, and in the lady's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, and I'm here for it. You know, you gotta have some team spirit. Let me hear it. But like, shit, you know what? We can talk about it after our stories because we should honestly start to jump into these stories. But really quick, I want to change my thing from GasX.
No, you can't change it.
I want to change it to 877 Cash Now.
Okay.
That-
I want to change mine.
You can't change it.
Bye.
You're only changing it because I changed it.
Lionel Cornpink. What is it?
Save your money.
Save your money.
All right, guys, we are like 13 minutes, I don't know, 15 minutes into it, and we should probably get into our stories. And honestly, I'm kind of making light of this because I don't know about your story, but my story is it's a downer, and it's not for the squeamish.
I have multiple.
Okay. Should we jump into it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Again, this is not for everybody. It's not for the squeamish. I'm a little desensitized from it because I did research on it, but the first time I heard it, I was like a little fucked up. So, here we go. So fireworks burst into the air on the night of July 4th, 1994 in Baraboo, Wisconsin. It was getting late, and the Steiner family locked up their doors and headed to bed. When they woke up the next morning, their 14-year-old son, Chris, was nowhere to be found. Mr. and Mrs. Steiner call the police and report Chris as missing. They tell the cops that Chris has never run away. He's a good kid. He stayed in school and stayed out of trouble. So the police arrive, and they take a look around and almost immediately notice the red flags. The screen outside of Chris's bedroom door has been slashed with a knife, and there are muddy footprints on the carpet in Chris's room, as well as the floor in the rear of the house where the back patio door was unlocked from the inside. So the police, investigators, and community searched for 6 days, and on the 6th day, they came across a body lying over a partially submerged tree on a sandbar in a river, and the body was 14-year-old Chris Steiner. So an autopsy showed no traumatic or fatal concussions or blows to the head, and there were no defensive wounds on his hands, and the cause of death was determined as drowning. The following summer of 1995, the Phillips family moves to Baraboo, Wisconsin. In the night of July 29th, 1995, 13-year-old Thaddeus is watching television in the living room when he falls asleep on the couch with his youngest sister. So hours later, he wakes up as he's being picked up off the couch, and it was normal for his dad to carry him up to his bedroom after he'd fallen asleep on the couch, so he just closed his eyes, went to sleep again, and was ready to get to his bed. But he woke up when the cold air hit his skin, and he noticed he wasn't upstairs in his bedroom, but he was outside of his house. So he looks up to see that he does not recognize the face of the person carrying him. The man stands Thaddeus up and smiles. Confused and half asleep, Thad assumes the man was a family friend. He introduces himself. He is 17-year-old Joe Clark, and he claims he's having car trouble. Thad assumes that Joe had asked his father for help with his broken-down car, but his dad didn't want to get out of bed because it was late. There was no specific time. It was just late at night when most of the people were asleep. So Thad asks where the car is, and Joe tells him that it's right up over the hill, but they have to run there.
Oh, no.
So confused and tired, he's still half asleep. The 13-year-old starts running with Joe, and they run for almost a mile. Then finally, they get to Joe's house, where his car sits outside. Then he invites Thad inside. So they go inside Joe's house. And the house smells bad. There is old food sitting in the kitchen, dirty dishes, used paper plates everywhere, trash on the floor, and the place was just a dump. Joe then says his car can wait because he's having a party. He rambles off a few names of the popular kids from school that Thad recognizes, and he says they're going to be coming over soon to hang out, have a good time, and maybe drink if he's interested. So Thad had only lived in this town for 2 weeks, and he wanted to become friends with the older popular kids at school. Then Joe says he has a collection of model cars and trucks upstairs if he wants to check them out before the party starts. Thad agrees, and they both go upstairs. Once they enter the bedroom, Joe picks up Thad, throws him on a soiled, nasty, unkept bed. Pinning down the 13-year-old, Joe grabs Thad's left leg and twists it until the ankle snaps and the bone splinters. Screaming in pain, Thad shoves Joe off of him, breaks free, and runs downstairs to the door. But Joe catches up, puts him in a chokehold, and throws him against a dirty couch. He takes Thad's right leg and pushes his knee up to his ear until his thigh snaps. Then Joe sits on the couch next to him and carries out a normal conversation. Thad asks why he's doing this. Joe admits he enjoys breaking leg bones and hearing them snap. When asked why he doesn't just do it to himself, Joe says that he's tried, but he can't get the angles right since he has to do it to himself. Thad asks if he had ever done it before, and Joe says he has done it twice. Once to a boy who he did not name, and then there was another boy, a little bit older than Thad, who had been his last playmate the summer before. The boy's name...
The fact that he calls him a playmate. Okay, sorry.
The boy's name was Chris Steiner.
Aww.
So Joe turns on the TV and tells Thad that, he can come live there with Joe and his brothers. Thad stays silent, stays still, and falls asleep. The next morning, Thad looks down to see his legs are swollen badly. I can imagine. Joe carries him up the stairs, places him on the bed, and opens up a bag filled with brand new clean socks. Joe carefully uses the socks and ace bandages to make a cast for Thad's badly broken legs. Then throughout the day, Joe went outside and tried to start his car, which was actually broken down. And when it wouldn't start, he would get pissed, come in, and break some more of Thaddeus's leg bones. Then Joe strapped leg braces on Thad's legs and forced him to walk.
How? How, Sway?
While walking, Joe told him to go near the stairs. In an insane amount of pain, with his ankles out of their sockets, he slowly walks until Joe pushes him. He fell down the entire flight of stairs and landed on his back at the bottom. Joe brings the boy back upstairs and lays him on the bed. Thad pleads him to let him go. He promises he won't tell anybody what really happened. He says he fell down a hill or off a mount or was hit by a car. But Joe says nobody would buy that, and it's too late for that. And honestly, he doesn't trust Thad. So Thad then just begs to call his parents. He says they're probably worried. They're going to start looking for him. He probably left evidence of himself at the house, basically doing everything he can to convince the kid to hand him a phone. So Joe hands him a phone. Thad dials and puts the speaker to his ear, only to see Joe smile as he hears nothing. The phone had been disconnected. So now he's playing like fucked up mind games with a 13-year-old whose legs are broken.
That's not all he's doing?
So they sat together and watched movies. Thad did his best to stay quiet and avoid anything that would cause Joe to touch his legs again. A few hours later, Thad attempts to escape, only to set off Joe's temper. Joe throws a pillow at him and tells him if he makes one more noise that he promises to snap his back and leave him paralyzed for life. Thad buries his head in the pillow, doesn't make a sound, and Joe jumps on the boy's feet. He then twists his disjointed feet until they're backwards and the skin looked like twisted rubber bands. Then the phone rings in the kitchen. It's Joe's girlfriend, asking about a party they had planned to attend. Thad mentally notes that there's a working telephone downstairs in the kitchen. That night, Joe gets dressed up for a party, and just as he's about to leave, he goes for Thad's legs once again, but this time he snaps his kneecaps backwards before locking him in a hot, not ventilated closet. Remember that since Thad had been kidnapped, he has not had any food or water. Joe leaves the house. Thad looks at his legs, which are badly disfigured and swollen to the diameter of basketballs. This is a 13-year-old's legs as big as basketballs. His knees are backwards, and his ankles are out of their sockets, literally hanging by skin. He searches for something in the closet, honestly, anything to open the door. That's when he finds an old, heavy wooden guitar. With a few swings, he's able to bash the door open. He crawls his way out of the closet, down the hall, and to the top of the stairs. With no other choice at escaping, he throws himself down the stairs head first.
I was going to say, you got to throw yourself down the stairs.
The pain was so excruciating that he passes out.
Oh, no.
When he wakes up, he starts crawling towards the kitchen and passes out again. He wakes up a few moments later and continues to drag himself to the dark kitchen. He finally makes it, looks up, and sees the phone high on the wall. Lucky for him, the phone cord was long enough for him to reach up and yank, and lucky for him, the dial buttons are on the phone itself and not the receiver on the wall.
Lucky Thad.
He quickly calls 911. He immediately identifies himself and his kidnapper, Joe Clark. The police and ambulance show up, and y'all, after being held captive for 43 hours with no food, no water, his legs broken every other hour, his kneecaps bent backwards, his ankles out of their sockets, and hanging limp by flesh, Thaddeus Phillips lives. This kid is a motherfucking force of nature. So he's taken to the hospital where he's reunited with his parents, and the doctor tells him that Thad was 2 hours away from dying of internal bleeding. The police find Joe Clark at a party near his neighborhood, and he's arrested. And the first 2 words he says to police are, "Oh, he's still alive?" Now, it's not 100% clear in my findings why nobody else was in Joe Clark's house, but I'm picking up on the vibe that it was the house belonged to his older brothers and not his parents. His parents didn't live there is my assumption. His brother was possibly out of town, or his brothers, and Joe was honestly just using it as a playground.
Literally, though.
Upon investigation, they find a notebook in his bedroom, and on the first page, it's separated into 3 columns with a different heading. One says, "Get to now." Another says, "Can wait." And another says, "Leg thing." And under each heading is the name of local young boys, which told investigators that he had planned this. So, since Thaddeus had only been in the neighborhood for 2 weeks, he tells police about the name Chris Steiner. He didn't really know about the reports of them finding a body the year prior. He just name drops it, so the cops are like, oh shit, we never found that kid's murderer. So they exhume his body, which has to be awful for the parents and the family, and honestly everybody involved. So when they x-rayed him, they found no wounds in his skull and none on his hands, and they didn't bother to scan the rest of his body because that's just not what they have to do. It's not part of what they do, I guess. So they give him an x-ray, and the x-ray showed that his legs were so broken, almost every single bone in the exact same spot as Thaddeus. On September 7th, 1995, the state filed a criminal complaint charging Joseph Clark with 8 crimes based upon allegations that he kidnapped the young boy, stomped on his legs, and twisted his ankles until they broke in numerous places, threatened and suffocated him, and kept him imprisoned in a locked closet without food for days until he was able to escape and call for help. Clark eventually enters no contest pleas, coupled with pleas of not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, to 1 count of attempt first-degree intentional homicide, 1 count of causing great bodily harm to a child, 1 count of mayhem, 1 count of causing mental harm to a child, and 1 count of child enticement. Okay. A jury found Clark to have been mentally responsible at the time of the offenses, and the circuit court judge found him guilty. After the court sentenced Clark to a total of 100 years imprisonment on the 5 counts, Clark files a plea of withdrawal motion challenging the factual basis for his blah, 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 blah.
Right.
The trial denied this fucking dumbass. So basically, I went into the court documents and I found what they wrote down as factual basis for mayhem. This is what it says verbatim. The offense of mayhem is committed by one who, with intent to disable or disfigure another, cuts or mutilates the tongue, eye, ear, lip, nose, limb, or other bodily member of another. In addition, we have previously held that mayhem requires evidence of great bodily harm. And obviously, they fucking did. The judge awarded Thaddeus F. Phillips, who was 15 by the time 1997 rolled around, his parents, Donald and Connie Phillips, $31,566 in medical charges and $6 million in compensation damages for pain and suffering from Joseph Clark. That motherfucker. So Joe Clark, who was 19 at the time...
he definitely beat his girlfriend.
I don't... See, that's the thing. I don't know if his girlfriend even knew.
Right, and that's the scariest part.
Yeah, I don't know. He was 17. This kid was 13.
Literally, like 17. Why are you so angry?
Shit.
It's just like, why are you so angry? Like, you were literally breaking people's legs.
Yeah, for the fun of it.
Yeah, like planning it.
So he's imprisoned at the Green Bay Correctional Institution for abducting Thaddeus. The judge wrote, quote, "Given the sensational nature of this case, it is entirely possible that the defendant could reap some financial gain through media coverage in the future." Then Thomas Jacobson, who acted as a guardian in the suit for Thaddeus, said, quote, I love my quotes. That's not what he said. That's what I said. End quote. Starting another quote. "In the real world, the sicker and more disgusting the act, the greater the media feeding frenzy. Actually, the suit ensures that Joseph Clark can't exploit the issue for his own personal profit." So then there's the Chris Steiner case, the kid who they found dead the year prior. Clark pled not guilty. Clark's parents testified that their son was home asleep in his room the night of the killing. However, others testify that Clark regularly snuck out of his house through an upstairs window. And who the fuck, excuse my French, but who the the fuck is going to believe or think his parents have any goddamn right to be saying anything?
I'm saying.
They're like, oh, yes, the 4th of July. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was asleep in his fucking bed. You know, go fuck yourself.
Right. Right.
Take one of your son's clean socks and shove it up your asshole.
I'm saying all the way up there, like in
Taste
through
it.
your asshole, like out through your mouth.
Yeah. Perfect. I like it.
Thanks.
And then there was the testimony of a former fellow juvenile detention inmate of Clark's who said Clark had admitted and bragged to her about killing a boy and placing his body over a tree in 1997. Joe Clark was found guilty of the homicide of Chris Steiner and sentenced to life in prison plus 50 years. Mind you, this is on top of what he had already gotten for Thad. This is a separate court case. And yeah, that piece of shit is rotting in jail, taking taxpayer money just to breathe. You dumb fuck. And he still claims his innocence with Chris's case.
No.
So as for Thaddeus, he had multiple surgeries over the course of many years. He has a permanent limp. But bitch, he lived.
And he got out of that nut-ass closet you locked him in.
Yo, that fucking kid is a boss.
It's smart as shit. Because I don't think I would have.
13 years old. That is so terrifying. And I told y'all that wasn't one for everybody. But then I was thinking, if Joe didn't get caught at the age of 17,
yeah, he would have killed so many people.
like what would have happened?
Right.
Yeah. It's fucked.
This world is a super fucked up place. And like,
But okay, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
no, what I'm saying might sound like really bad, so I'm not gonna finish that.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, I'm grateful that like stuff like that has never happened to me.
Yeah, and there's so much more good in the world than bad. Keep that in mind.
But like the media,
it's just the bad that gets blown up, and when there's bad, it's really bad. But there's good people too. Shit, in situations like that, you gotta fucking like think that way. You have to think that at the end of the day, at the end of a life, it's gonna be some karmatic nature in some sort that's gonna come for these people.
the PTSD that Dad is probably going through in his life is probably literally crazy. Like, that's probably just enough to be like unbearable.
Yeah. And I'm sure the parents are like, fuck, why did we move to this goddamn town? 2 weeks, 14 days.
And also, like, how did that Clark boy even know that Dad was there? Like, you know, like he had to been
school.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And as there wasn't too much on this case. I found actually a forum from 1997.
Oh shit.
I didn't know that. I thought the internet came out in like 1998.
Right. When AOL started.
Maybe it was like I don't know, but I literally found a thing and it was dated 1997. Was people were talking back and forth. But the kid lived, y'all. The kid fucking lived.
All right.
Yeah. What would you have done?
Like I said, like
I don't even think you can fucking... I don't even think that's a valid question for me to ask because...
I don't think I could think. Like, I would just be like, oh my God, my legs look like basketballs. Like,
you don't think you could think, but then when you're like instincts...
It's like the adrenaline, right?
Yeah. Adrenaline and just like the will to survive, you know?
Right,
they
like,
say,
I don't want to die here.
They say that you like... And I was reading an interview with him and he said that he remembered the one morning was...
Who, Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a Sunday morning and it was his brother's birthday. And that the thought of it being his brother's birthday is like what helped him really fucking get through it.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So he's like, he survived. He made it because he wanted to make it back to his family.
Right.
A 13-year-old.
Right.
Shit. Joe Clark, you're a piece
of shit.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead. Take it away.
All right, guys. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Oh, yeah. Did we say that? Thank you for listening.
And if you guys didn't know, our topic is survivors.
Yep. Survivors.
So I'm going to jump into this. Maria Verichiva was 19 years old when she was set up with a sales associate job by her boyfriend and father of her child. Also being 3 months pregnant, Maria did not have a choice. My nose is so stuffy.
It sounds hot, though. Hot. Oh, okay, not that not so much now, but like sick voice is hot. You know that episode of Friends where Phoebe has a sick voice?
Yeah.
Just go with that.
All
Feel
right.
that out.
Also, being 3 months pregnant.
All right, that was too confident.
Okay. No such thing. Also, being 3 months pregnant, Maria did not have a choice but to take the job. Earlier that day, Maria and her boyfriend got into an argument at a metro station in Moscow. So this is based in Russia.
Okay.
Alexander Pechunsky saw the argument happen, decided to strike up a conversation with Maria. She was desperate for support, so she welcomed Alexander's company. I'm calling him Alexander because I know I'm going to butcher his name through this whole thing. So.
Okay, so his real name isn't Alexander?
His name is Alexander, but usually, they call them by their last names.
Oh, and you can't say his last name because it's Russian? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to butcher it. Overhearing the argument and debacle between Maria and her boyfriend, Alexander offered an opportunity to make additional money. He said he had hid stolen cameras in a well by Bitsevsky Park and that he would give them to Maria to sell. Maria was unsure she even had a job after getting into an argument with her boyfriend, so she agreed to go with him to get the cameras.
Cameras just in a well?
Yeah, Maria didn't think this one through, but it's okay because she was desperate and she was 3 months pregnant, so she was probably just like...
Did you say the year? I always miss when you say the year. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say the year.
Okay. Is there a year? Do you know it?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Let's say it's the 90s.
Okay, probably is.
Probably is. Do you want me to look it up? I just want a time frame so I can
picture it.
Yeah, I just like to... Is he wearing acid wash jeans? Is she wearing a frock? I guess if it's a camera, it couldn't be the frock times.
Frocky.
I guess people still wear frocks. People wear Crocs. I don't know what's worst, frocks or Crocs.
February 25th, 2002.
2002, everyone. February 25th, 2002. Got it.
So, when they arrived at the park where the well was, Alexander lifted the cover to the well and told Maria to look inside.
No. Oh, girl.
As she did this, Alexander quickly picked her up and threw her in. Maria tried to hold on to both sides of the well to avoid falling, but Alexander grabbed her head and repeatedly slammed it into the side of the well. Maria let go. Maria heard Alexander say, "Take a bath there."
Oh my God, in the fucking well. How deep was it? Do we know how deep it was?
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you ever heard of the chessboard killer, but this is who this guy is.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
So, he murdered about 48 people and had countless victims like Maria. Maria fell over 9 meters, which is about 30 feet. Maria landed knee-deep in a sewage where water was rapidly flowing down a drain pipe. She was caught in the current, but her fast thinking to remove her jacket and her boots aided her to be able to place her hands and feet on the sides of the drain to keep her from moving any further with the current.
I would not have thought. Well, maybe my jacket, if it's catching
Right,
shit.
It was probably catching her,
But my boots, I would have been like, I need these puppies in this gnarly water.
Well, also think about it, being 3 months pregnant, that has to be so exhausting.
I'm not even pregnant. I'm exhausted.
All the time.
Dude, maybe I am.
If it was not for her fast thinking, she would have not reached the end of the drain pipe to a section that was filled with water, and she would have drowned.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, she stopped herself near another well leading up from the drain pipe and managed to climb to the top, only to find that she was too weak to push the well cover open above her. Luckily, a passing woman heard her cries for help and saw the well cover raise a bit as Maria tried to pry it open. And the woman ran to alert 2 security guards. They lifted the well cover and pulled Maria to safety. This is where it gets bad.
Oh my God, fuck, I'm not ready. But wait, can you paint the picture for me? Is it like the well? I'm picturing it full like The Ring style, where she would have to go. How the fuck did she climb up it? Or was it like a side thing? Because you know how they.
I'm guessing there's little rigs in there.
Oh yeah, there could be. Oh my God.
Even so, that's just
okay.
You get up to the top and it's I'm here, and then you can't move it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So the police refused to investigate Maria's case and forced her to sign a statement saying she fell down the well on her own account.
Listen here. Public service announcement.
I'm saying why.
Okay.
She was called to identify her attacker years later when he was under suspicion of 48 murders. The police could have potentially saved the lives of 48 people had they investigated the attack on Maria.
No, I'm not telling y'all how to do your job.
But
do
what's up?
better next time.
This next story is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was like,
What do you think he was going to do to her?
probably just push her in the well. He probably thought she was just going to drown down there.
And that's it? Like, I know that serial, like, don't you think it's more like, I guess it maybe not across across the board. It's a chess reference. Chess or checkers?
It was the chessboard killer.
What they're played on the same fucking
They
board.
are playing on the same board.
I feel like it's more. I know of him, and I know I listened to some podcast along the way, but I don't really remember his case that much. But I feel like serial killers, it's like a more intimate thing. You know, you want a little. Maybe some of them want a little trophy, want a little something. But I feel like if you just like publicly push a girl down a well and then just like walk away,
It's like, what? Okay, what is that doing for you? But maybe
maybe he just went and felt great about his day, drank some highballs, and watched Friends.
I'm just really mad that they didn't investigate. Like, why not?
Me too. I'm sure they tried to have a reason, but
It's never good enough. All right, let's move on.
let's do it.
Rhonda Williams grew up in a household of severe abuse and neglect, often beaten and raped by her alcoholic father as a toddler. Rhonda Williams kept a terrifying secret for 40 years. After 40 years of silence, Rhonda decided she was no longer going to hide from her past. She told her story of the twisted involvement with one of Houston's most notorious serial killers. When Rhonda was younger, she befriended Elmer Wayne Henley. In August of 1973, Rhonda placed her trust in Henley when he aided her in sneaking out of her bedroom window to escape yet another one of her father's episodes. Together, they snuck out of the house, and Tim Curley was waiting in the car for them, and the three drove away to what Rhonda thought was her safety. Had she known Henley's true motive, she certainly would have decided against letting him rescue her. Rhonda would later find out her dear friend Elmer Wayne Henley aided in the killings of 29 young boys with Dan Quarrel. Did you ever hear of him?
Is it the older guy and the younger guy?
Yeah.
Yes. It sounds.
Is that how you say his last name?
I don't know.
It's Corll. Quarrel.
Sure, absolutely.
So basically, boys were lured into Quarrel's clutches for satisfying his sadistic sexual urges.
Jesus.
Just like imagine being like really good friends with someone like.
And then finding out they have a fucking twin. We already went over that one.
Oh right.
Still Quake Roats over here.
Right. Seriously, for real. But just imagine having a friend and then finding out like they're just involved in all this fucked up shit after coming out of like a fucked up household.
Yeah. And they're trying to like lure you in. Not just are they involved, but like you're involved
yeah,
now.
I'm saying it's like you're the scapegoat.
Did you see the movie Last House on the Left?
Yes. Fucked up. The craziest movie I've ever seen.
One of them. I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, that's true.
That one.
That one was not good. So, the three went to Coral's home where they partied until they couldn't anymore. When Rhonda woke up, she was shocked. Her and her two friends were tied hand and foot. Coral kicked and screamed at Rhonda to wake up. Then he and Rhonda's trusted friend Henley took her and Tim to another room and latched them to what looked like a torture board. Rhonda still believed her dear friend Henley wouldn't hurt her. Her trust was finally broken when Henley told her that he would have to shoot her before it was over. However, something inside Henley finally broke, and instead he turned the gun on Coral and shot him dead. Henley reached for the phone and called the police. Williams survived that night thanks to her...
Oh, Williams is her last name, right?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were saying William. I was like, wait, who that?
Who William?
Who he?
Who William?
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Williams survived a night of horror thanks to her friend. And although he was jailed for a short time, she made a promise to him to remain silent about the situation from then on, and only speak about it publicly 4 decades later.
She survived only because of her friend. She was in that situation
Because
of her friend. Listen, honey.
You need to pick your friends. So, and apparently they're still in, he's still in prison and they're still friends.
Rhonda, babe. Sweetie, I know you had a fucked up childhood. I know you had a bad. That's awful, but
You can't
learn from the past and just make some better decisions. Like, maybe don't be friends. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I wasn't there. You know? I feel bad for her. That's nuts.
Right.
She's probably not okay.
No.
Mm-mm.
There's a picture of her on the thing. She looks okay.
Not between those ears.
No. That's like
Those eyes have seen a lot and felt a lot.
Right. Like, not only with her father, which is like your parents are like people that are supposed to keep you safe.
As an infant, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine going through that and then having a friend like that.
I would trust no hoe.
No. I'd be like, nah, I'm not even going to leave my house.
Honestly, maybe that's plays a part in why she would still be friends with him. Maybe like when that's all you know and like that's what you've literally from the first memory you have is from
like
sexually abuse from your father. You know, maybe you think that that's how people are and that people, you know, he helped her out. So like maybe in his head he's like, or maybe in her head she's thinking, you know, all people are pretty much bad for the most part. And this guy helped
me. I mean, I can see that. I see your point. But I think victims like that. So there's this thing with PTSD victims that like your brain, it tries to recover. So it literally will black out traumas like that. And you won't remember them and you won't remember them happening. That's why like mentally abused victims, they always go back to their abusers because they block it out and they don't know what's happening. So they literally have to have people like remind them like this really happened. You're not crazy. Like this is really what happened. And it's crazy because your mind tries to protect yourself so much, but it's like not a good thing because it kind of hinders you from healing.
Yeah. Or getting away from that.
Right. That's true.
Or making better choices when you meet other people.
That's true. But it's all about the red flags.
Yeah.
So
well, when you started that story, I honestly thought she was going to be the person. Because, know, yeah, because like Eileen Warnos, when it starts off a rough childhood like that, a lot of the times yeah. But
like props to her for not stooping to that.
For not snapping like Thaddeus's knees.
Yikes.
That literally wasn't a joke. I probably shouldn't have said that though.
So Rebecca Gard worked as a telemarketer in Seattle in 1982. She had just gotten off work and was tired of waiting out in the rain for her bus, so she decided to hitchhike home on a cold night in November.
What year is this?
1982.
No. Okay, I guess people were still hitchhiking back then.
But like, you'll see she has like a really bad childhood also. So.
Oh, okay.
The man who eventually offered her a ride seemed as ordinary as the Dodge pickup he was driving. She happily accepted.
Did you write that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You should write the next Harry Potter book. That was a really good sentence.
I literally can't come up with that stuff on the fly, so.
You don't have to. You can sit down in an editing room with J.K. Rowling. I'm sorry. That was a beautiful sentence. It painted the picture.
One time in my life. Where was I
at? As normal as his.
Oh, so she accepted his offer. Had she known that he would have eventually be convicted of killing 48 women like her, she might have declined instead.
She just may have. Maybe just swiped left. Right. Is it swipe left? I've literally been saying that this whole time and I have not had
I think it is swipe
Tinder.
Left. Because swipe right is okay and swipe left is like no.
I don't know.
You just gotta do the motions. That's how I know.
But we're mirroring each other.
Okay, but this is right.
Stage left?
Because I know when I like people, I'm like, and I know when I'm doing, I'm like, like I'm saying no.
Yeah, but you're also saying no the other way.
No, doesn't work.
Yes, it does. You're literally wagging. No. All right. I'm forgetting that this is an audio podcast and she's doing like hand gestures.
To each other. While riding in his vehicle, she offered him sex in exchange for $20, figuring she could use the money to buy weed when she got home.
Just a little blowy on the goey.
She began to feel odd about the man she was with. She asked to see his ID, and he agreed. This put her a little bit more at ease because she thought at least he wasn't a cop.
Cops can have fake IDs.
Cops can have regular IDs anyway. Like, if you can be a cop and still have a regular ID. Like, it doesn't say police on it, you know?
I am policeman. Wait, did you ever see the Twitter was like no policeman?
No.
It's so funny. It's like a picture of like a middle-aged man and all the tweets are like, do you guys know where I can get marijuana? I'm just a teenager. I'm hashtag not a policeman. It's so funny.
They parked by a trailer park, and the man suggested they go into the woods for some privacy. Once they reached a spot that was relatively secluded, Ridgway, which is the man, attacked her and tried to strangle her to death from behind. She fought him off by pushing him into a tree and ran to a nearby trailer for help. The attacker immediately fled the scene. Due to her lifestyle and a general fear of the police, Guard waited nearly 2 years after her attack before she contacted authorities. So even though this didn't help capture and helped law enforcement build a more solid case around the most prolific serial killer in the United States, Ridgway picked up and killed at least 15 more women in the same area along the Pacific Highway where he attacked Guard, and her description of him at least gave them something to move on.
Question.
Yes.
Does telemarketing not pay well if she's trying to get $20 for a sucky?
I don't think it did back then. I feel like a telemarketing job was something that anyone could get, so it probably didn't pay well.
All you have to do is know how to call at a really inconvenient time.
That is true. Maybe it paid like $10 an hour. Also, maybe she just didn't have
That's
money.
a lot for back then.
You're right.
No, they did
$5.
not pay me $10 an hour. Get out of here.
5. In 2001, Ridgway was finally sentenced to life in prison.
2001?
Yeah, that was a while. Rebecca Guard remains his only known surviving victim.
What if there's people out there who are just scared? Too scared
Like
to say
her
something?
and like Rhonda. Like, these are people that literally are terrified. I mean, Rhonda was protecting someone, but it's like the one-offs. Like, Rhonda was protecting someone. She hasn't been good with law enforcement, so she didn't say anything. Like, and they didn't even take Maria's case either. I mean, granted, that's in Russia, so it might be like a different spectrum. I don't know. But it seems like all of these have like similarities with law enforcement.
Similarities.
Shut up. With law enforcement.
Yeah. And just fucked up, ego-tripping maniacs.
That's true. All these people are cray-cray. And I did this based around women because I feel like men see women as, like, you know, inferior.
We got survivors out there.
And that's what I'm saying. And they survived. So
They survived. Wow. I'm glad we did survivors.
Me too. That was a good topic. Good job.
Women and a child.
Right. So, did you guys ever hear of Beth Thomas? I'm saying it like they're going to answer me. Have you ever heard of Beth Thomas?
Yes.
That, what is she, 6? She was?
I don't know.
Yeah, 6 years old, and she wanted to kill her parents, her adoptive parents, and her brother. And, so I guess the story goes that she would, like, stick pins in her brother to try to kill him, and then, you know, moved on
to try to kill him with pins.
Yeah, and then it moved on to animals, like straight Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so she obviously went for, you know, psychoanalysis, and now she's an RN.
All right, saving lives.
So
saving
another
lives,
survivor.
Sharpening knives.
Yeah, because...
Well, she was abused by her dad.
Yeah, she was abused, another abused victim, but I feel
But
like...
not by her adopted dad,
No,
biological
her real
dad.
But I feel like, I mean, I don't know how this works, but if, like, these people, like, seeked help, I feel like they wouldn't be as terrible.
Possibly. That brings it back to a whole, like, nature versus nurture,
Right,
which is...
literally. It's really all about how you upbring your kids, and that's crazy.
See, but that's where the argument comes in.
It does, because there are some people, like, the rich kids that are, like, you know, just like these normal people, and they're killers. And
yeah, events such as, you know, hitting your head or, like, a near-death experience.
Right.
And, like, you know, when they continue to wet the bed, and it just kind of shows the signs of somebody, and maybe they weren't particularly abused, or maybe they were,
You just never
or
know.
maybe they're just natural born killers.
That was a really good movie, by the way.
Yeah. But I think that conversation is really interesting. I could get into it right now, but I'd need
Same.
another shot of espresso.
Yeah, really.
Maybe we'll do that soon. we can do nature versus nurture, because that's like what a lot of these serial killer situations boil down to.
I think on one of the episodes we should just strike the whole story and maybe just have a conversation. And like
I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, yes you do.
I don't
we could do that for like a Patreon
talk to you
thing.
Whew. Well, today was a doozy.
That was.
And speaking of terrible people,
I used to think a doozy was like a good thing. Like, oh, it was a doozy. Like, it was so easy. Yep.
People were like, wow, that math exam was a doozy. And you're like, dude, I don't need to study. I got it in the bag. It's a doozy. Your best friend Miranda with pencils in her hair. She's like, Sarah, you should study in study hall.
Do I look like Lizzie McGuire?
You're like, nah, Gordo. I can just scribble in my notebook. It's going to be a doozy. Merry Christmas, Lizzie McGuire. Speaking of terrible people, you know, I just wanted to... I had this conversation with my boss not that long ago, like 2 days ago, about shitty things that Philly fans have done. Again, not shitting on y'all. I'm just bringing it to the light. And it's not all of them. It's honestly, these situations are just certain people. But I just want to bring it up. So at a Phillies game, for those of y'all who don't know, who might be out of the country, Phillies are Philadelphia's baseball team. In 2010, there was a 21-year-old named Matthew Clemens, and he was being escorted out of his seat for unruly behavior. And on his way out, he leaned over, put 2 fingers down his throat, and intentionally started vomiting on a off-duty police officer and his 11-year-old daughter while he was super drunk, and he was getting taken out of the park, and he was like just pissed about everything. So he was he threw up on an 11-year-old girl. No,
he stuck his hands in his mouth and threw up on an 11-year-old. Wow. How do you come up with that?
This was in 2010. That wasn't that long ago. And then jumping back to 1983, there's this guy. His name is Zima Williams, and he is the unofficial mascot of the Washington Redskins, and he goes by Chief Z. And he was in Philadelphia at a Redskins-Eagle game, and 2 people ripped his clothes and threw them from the upper deck to the seats below. And then, after the game, in the parking lot, the same 2 people, plus others, assaulted him and broke his legs, and he had to use a wheelchair and crutches for the rest of the year.
Oh no. Oh no.
Y'all, it's a game. It's a game. It's a game.
It's literally a team.
It's a team. It's a game.
It's not that deep.
Be a decent or respectful human being. We're all in this together. Stop that. That's our second Disney. We're going to owe some money by the end of this.
Disney rules the world.
Listen. Then Ed Snyder, who co-founded the Philadelphia hockey team, the Flyers, for those of y'all who don't know, he died after battling bladder cancer. So when the Phillies came home to the Wells Fargo Center, every fan was given a plastic basket. You remember the basket? What the fuck am I saying?
I was like,
a plastic bracelet. You remember like the Livestrong bracelets?
Yeah.
They were given one of those. It was in memory of the co-founder of the hockey team who died of bladder cancer. So everybody has these wristbands. They took a moment of silence for him. And then as the game went on and Washington started beating Philadelphia, all the people got pissed and started flinging their bracelets onto the ice. Flinging their bracelets.
Rubber bracelets
which were given to them in memoriam of a man who died of cancer weeks before. Come on, y'all. And then there's the great debacle. That's the second time we use that today. If you guys are keeping score, that's the word of the day. We should have a word of the day like Pee-wee.
Okay.
And then we just scream real loud. Today's word of the day is
debacle.
Wow. So
my cousin used to do the best Pee-wee Herman impression.
I fucking doubt it because I do it better. Don't give me that look. I have a home video right upstairs.
Okay, but what about right now? We're talking about right now.
Funk show, brother. Check it out now. All right, so 1968, it was snowing really bad. We are in Philadelphia. It's just about Christmas time, so they decide to do a special Christmas halftime show. So the man who was playing Santa was running late because of the snow, and I guess Rudolph had the day off. It's just a little joke I threw in there. So this young kid, he was 20 years old. His name was Frank Oliva. His name was Frank. He was chosen to be the backup Santa. So he goes out there and he's just spreading the Christmas joy. He's literally not doing anything. He's waving at everybody. And then people start booing him really loud. Just somebody playing Santa for the Christmas halftime show. And then they start to pelt him with snowballs.
Why?
These
For what?
Eagles fans in 1968 pelted Santa with snowballs. And he was he was a Philadelphian. And
Let's fuck up Santa Claus.
yeah. And actually, if you've seen, I only know this tiny fact because I went to film school. If you haven't heard, now you know that yes, indeed, I did. And we had to watch Rocky, and at the very beginning, the opening scene of the first movie, there is a sign, like it's a big wooden cutout, I want to say, or maybe it's a paper cutout of Santa hanging on a door, and behind it is the Eagles thing. So they put Santa in front of the Eagles thing. Oh my God. So that was like them being like, hey, Santa, sorry about it. You're in this Rocky movie.
They were like, psych, no, not sorry about it.
Not that long ago, the dude actually came forward. He was 20 years old in 1968. You do the math of how old he is now. A couple of years ago, I think he did a video interview, and he was talking about how terrifying it was to stand in the middle of a stadium while people are fucking pelting ice balls at you. I'm stressed. I have a stressful situation at hand, Sarah.
What's up?
I have an annuity, but I need cash now.
877 cash now.
I don't have annuity.
What is annuity?
It's like a pension. It's like a fixed
Do they even do
lump of money
pensions anymore?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking millennials.
Who do we think we are?
So have you guys ever seen the video of that woman saying, eat bread and desserts and get all fat and sassy?
I cannot wait till this, like, somebody listens to this episode like 10 years from now and remembers that meme and they're just like, holy shit, throwback.
That's gonna be me.
Probably.
When I get older. I just want y'all to know that. So it's gonna be me.
Besides all those Philly facts, I have another fun fact, and it kind of correlates with my story. Did you know that the human thigh bone is stronger than concrete? Now, I'm going to assume that that's an adult human thigh bone.
Yeah, def.
Okay, perfect.
Are we doing my fun fact?
Yeah.
Applebee's is selling $1 Bahama Mamas now for February. So,
yo,
go get them.
Yo, that wasn't even a fun fact. You just like gave them free publicity. That's like saying, yo, they got.
I love Bahama Mamas. What? One time I almost fell through a glass table because I got so drunk off Bahama Mama. That's a fun fact.
Is that the next fun? That's the bonus fun fact. Oh my God.
It's fun because it's alcohol. So don't hate the
get
player. Hate the game, boo.
Get on down to Applebee's. So in the Applebee's in Philadelphia, there's a picture. I don't know if they do this at all the Applebee's. I feel like they do. They have a picture of an old college basketball team, and it was from the early 90s, and it had everybody's name on it. And I was there with my friend Gabby. And she goes on Facebook, finds all of them now, and adds them all on Facebook. And like they all start seeing that all of their old teammates from the 90s on their basketball team are friends with this one girl.
That's funny.
Just because we ate at Applebee's. Go get on down and get your Bahama Mamas. Speaking of which, it has nothing to do with it at all. I just ran out of a segue.
Eat bread and desserts and get all fat and sassy.
If you guys want to get all fat and sassy with us, you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Esoteric Oddities, Twitter, Esoteric Oddity,
Odditie. No.
Odditie. Follow us on Facebook.
Esoteric Oddities.
Find us. Come and find us. Don't. There's probably a murderer listening to
Follow us.
Don't do that.
Follow us.
Send us an email if you would like to complain about anything we did to insult you. I will be sure to maybe read it, print it out, wipe my ass with it. That was so rude of me. Thank you guys for listening. If you're listening to us.
If you're still listening.
If you're still listening on Apple, Apple Tunes, Bananarama. If you're listening to us on Bananaramas even, go ahead and give us a review. We appreciate it. We appreciate the new reviews. Thank you guys. We love the love. We love you.
Thanks, guys.
We love that you listen. And until next time, I guess I guess the only thing left to say is
Go Eagles.
I wasn't going to say that, but
Oh.
I mean, that works for now because the Super Bowl hasn't happened yet. But when this comes out, it's going to be over.
Damn.
So they either won or they didn't. Go birds. Go parakeets.
Go Birds.
I think it's time for bed.
Bye.
Bye, guys.